Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Pisces. If Pisces is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so, Pisces, today we have the Empress card. Always a very welcome energy. Okay, and let's go ahead and take a look and see what we have going on in these tea leaves today. And if you have not subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Okay. So it looks like we have a young cat. You can just tell by the face, it looks kind of young. It looks like a bobcat maybe, even with the tail being kind of, you know, the little nub that they have. Or is that a lynx? I always forget. The bobcats, I think, have the short tails, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's the lynx. So these are wild cats. They're smaller. They're not like a cougar necessarily. But we do have this little wild thing, right? Have you ever heard a bobcat scream? Well, make their noise or do their call. I had never heard it until, I suppose it was maybe 2 summers ago. It was just at dusk. And at the time, we were living in a small town. Maybe 1,000 people live there. And all of a sudden, it sounded like somebody screaming. And you could hear it echoing down the neighborhood, right? And I thought, what the heck? Hopefully somebody isn't, you know, being attacked or something. I mean, gosh, it sounds horrifying, really. And then it kept going. And then it kept going. And then it shifted to down a different street. But it was like a cross street, so it's coming from another direction, kind of. And so I went inside and I was like, I don't know what's going on. Nobody else is running outside to see what's going on. So I talked to my husband. Shout out to Dove and Serpent Tarot, my husband Paul over there. And he said, well, maybe it's a bobcat or, you know, some kind of animal or something. So anyways, I looked into it. It's horrifying. Go look on YouTube if you've never heard what they sound like. It sounds like somebody screaming. I mean, it really does. So anyhow, bobcat. Now, the cats, for me, always a sign of independence, a sign of doing kind of, you know, what you please, to some degree, right? But being less worried about what other people think than, you know, the average person. When you have that cat energy, it's kind of like, you know, you're going to do what you do. Now, I don't know if bobcats stay with their families for very long, but I think that they're mostly solitary. But, you know, some larger cats, they do stay with their pride. And I'm thinking of a lion, obviously. But for the most part, you know, I think that there is a sense of kind of going on one's own way, right? Doing your own thing, being on your own path. I feel like, especially right now, you're not very troubled by what other people have to say, what they think, none of that. You're just kind of doing your own thing. Now, we also have that Empress energy. So I feel like you are really focused on growing aspects of your physical world. And so what does that mean? Maybe you are saving money. Maybe you are trying to grow your family. Maybe you your family is growing. Maybe you are a grandparent, or you're becoming a grandparent. Or there are other children within the family being born, nephews, nieces, so on. You could be gardening. You could be adding onto your house. You could be buying a new house or a bigger house, or maybe a smaller place, renting a smaller place that is more feasible, right? You know, whatever it is, but growing some kind of, what's the word? I was going to say worth, but it's not necessarily just worth, it's quality, right? Worth and quality may be together, but especially quality. Somewhere you want to be, something you want to be, among the people you want to be with. Really investing in this aspect, whatever that is, in particular to you and your situation. So I do find you kind of not so interested in the socializing, not so interested in, you know, the kind of frivolous things, but very interested in doing whatever you are working on. Now, for me, as soon as I'm done being so sick, and obviously you can hear I'm still in the middle of this flu, it's transforming. It's going from one thing to the next. I don't know that I've been sick like that. Well, since I had that one thing, you know, the one that I can't say the name on YouTube of it, but you know what it is. The thing that we've been trying to stay away from for years, the last couple of years, right? Few years. Wow, my goodness. 4 years. So, yeah, trying to get back to normal. But as soon as I'm feeling better and I can be outside more. Now, yesterday I was out there, or the day before I was out there weed eating, and that set me off coughing. Gardening. And that's what I identify with this read. I'm like, yeah, that's it. I'm growing, you know, I'm out here growing stuff. Growing quite literally plants and vegetables and herbs and flowers and all of the like. And so maybe you are in the same realm of thinking here. And it makes sense with the Empress card. If you could imagine, I always think of the Empress kind of as Persephone returning for the spring, and all around her, flowers in abundance, beautiful plants growing, lush, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And so, yes, definitely that energy. Not focused on what everybody's doing, the little dramas, on the social medias and everything else. No, out there in the sun, hopefully wearing a hat, hopefully wearing your sunblock, breathing fresh air, hands in the dirt, taking care of what's important to you, right? Not worried, unbothered, right? So that's a wonderful feeling and vibe to start this reading on. And so I want to go over here. We also have a goddess figure, and you can tell because her arms are raised. And now I need to find a goddess statue of this particular goddess form that I see often in the readings. It's where her hands are elevated above her head. And so this is a primordial goddess. This is one of the early fertility goddesses. This is a mother goddess, a middle goddess. And so, quite like the Empress in a lot of ways. A lot of inspiration, fertility, a sense of really being close to the muse here, right? For better or worse. For some of us, it can really kind of drive us a little batty, right? We have all this inspiration, we're having visions, there are, revelations, synchronicities, all kinds of signs and symbols coming through, and there aren't enough hours in the day to kind of, apply yourself to this work. So, but I think in your case, it really is a welcome, a welcome channel of energy flowing through your life. I can see you really kind of getting into some new projects, beginning maybe this new season that is coming up, if that is summer, if that is winter in the Southern Hemisphere. Looking to, you know, start something fresh, something that can kind of carry you through these next months. Excuse me. And so, yeah, definitely that energy. Now, I also think of this goddess in particular as kind of being a revealer. I had some visions when years ago I had partaken in some plant medicine, and I was having some really, I mean, just beautiful visions. I had this kind of moment where it felt like I was in an old theater. Okay, it seemed like, you know, like one of these old vaudeville theaters or an old movie theater, very ornate and beautiful framing around the actual theater and in the balcony seats and all of that. And there was a goddess standing there by the curtains, and she was very, I mean, large, very big, and tall is what I mean. Kind of a giant compared to me, or how I perceived her. And she was wearing a beautiful kind of golden, I don't know, like a dress of some kind, and she was shadowy. I couldn't see her face necessarily. But not shadowed from the light. It's just she seemed imperceivable in some way, right? Kind of, I looked, and it's like she almost looked like the night sky shimmering. And she pulled back the curtain, and I saw the movements of the universe, how things began, and at least on Earth, you know, these things coming down and seeding the earth, and everything beginning to combine and grow, these little cells, and they got bigger and bigger and bigger, and so on, and everything kind of evolving. And so this goddess to me really is a when she visits me. Now, I don't really partake in plant medicine anymore, but when she does visit me in my dreams, or when I'm meditating, or you know, doing kind of active imagination work, this is when I know that there will be some kind of profound information, revelation, a spiritual download of some kind. And so I do also feel like this is a time where there will not only be inspiration and kind of a courtship with the muse, but there is also a revealing of mysteries. And so the veil lifted ever so slightly, and it is for you to choose. Will you follow this path? You know, will you dedicate yourself to the revealing? And as a Pisces, I believe that maybe you would. It seems probably so. Now, we have an H right here, okay? We have another H up here. So, leads me to believe that there is an important H person, their name starting maybe with H, or some kind of, you know, word that describes them that starts with an H. It could be, but it does feel like an important person. Now, we also have a horse here. We have a horse here. We have a horse here. Yes. And so I do feel like there's a sense of movement, wanting to get going, getting on that horse and riding out, you know, no more stagnant periods of time, right? The incubation has happened, and now it's time to get going with it. And I feel you really pushing yourself to use this motivation, use this energy that you have, use this, you know, passion and messaging from the universe, and put that into the work that you are doing. But also, I feel that it is a sense of relief. There's a sense of almost kind of letting, you know, the valve loose so the steam can, you know, the pressure can come down. It is something similar to that, because I feel there is a stirring, like a almost, well, like they say, stir crazy, right? A feeling of needing to get up and get moving and doing and making something, using, you know, whatever it is that's just sitting on your tongue, waiting to be said, waiting to be translated into some physical form. And so I feel this is a beautiful time. And if you fight against it, if you push it down and you don't allow yourself to let some of it out, my goodness, you know, the anxiety that will build. And I feel, you know, almost a sense of chaos erupting within. So make sure that you're doing something. It doesn't have to be formal. You don't have to be like some great painter, or, you know, maybe like you're crochet. You're not really great at crocheting, but you like to. That's fine. Do something creative, something that feels like, you know, you can really get into it. Over here, we're going to be painting some bird houses in the next day or so. And so I'm excited for that. Now, I'm not a good painter, but I do enjoy, you know, making things with my daughter. So yeah, you know, it could be just something simple as that. And so let's see, what else do we have? Excuse me. So I'm looking here, and it feels like we have another goddess energy. We have another one right here. I almost feel like this is an aunt, an auntie. And I almost feel like it's kind of, maybe is your mother's sister. And I feel like she's somebody that you do not necessarily like, or you did not like her. I feel like this is somebody who really tried to rule the roost kind of deal. Always kind of talking down to people. I feel like, you know, even maybe when you were in your teen years, maybe going through some things, maybe getting in trouble a little bit, whatever it was, very kind of negative and harsh and overstepping boundaries. I feel like your parent, though, excuse me again, always trying to kind of have a relationship with this sibling, but the sibling not receptive. Kind of like, I almost feel like real snobby. If they have good reason to be, who knows? You know, I don't know. Probably not. Usually they don't, do they? But I feel like just a sense of being snubbed, your mom being snubbed by this person. And, you know, and I think that really you never liked this person because of that. Now, behind the mom, we see there's a little knight, and you can see the little feather coming out of the hat there. So I do feel like there's always a sense of wanting to save her from this person. Like, just mom, like, she sucks, right? Who cares what she thinks? And I feel like this is kind of, you know, the thinking, like, why would you ever care? Well, you know, sometimes it's hard to say, but, you know, especially when it is our family, and our siblings, you know, I think oftentimes people want to, I don't know, they want to find a sense of still belonging with one another, acceptance and support and these kinds of things. Well, I don't know what's happened with this lady, but I do feel like, you know, it's a time where not good. You know, maybe she's having health issues. Maybe she is passing away, or maybe she has passed away. Maybe it's financial issues. I don't know. But I do feel like you know, there's a sense of trying to be, you know, an adult about it and not kind of rejoice in her downfall. But at the same time, kind of like, well, you know, when you treat people poorly, and, you know, and then when things kind of turn and you are the one that's kind of having some troubles, how do you expect people to kind of come to your aid and support? So I don't know. I feel like there's a sense of you really struggling to be the better person here. We have that Empress energy. So I could see like really trying to be diplomatic and you know, and like saying your prayers for her, or, you know, trying to lend a hand, not directly maybe, but, you know, maybe with other family members and so on. And I think that this is a time where maybe your mother, if she is still, you know, alive in her physical body, it's kind of a difficult and tricky thing where, of course, she loves this person, and doesn't want to see them toiling in troubles, but you know, it's kind of also like, you know, I don't know, there's a pain there. That's a pain and a worry, and at the same time, you know, again, maybe trying to keep distance because it is. But now I also wonder, will your mother be the only one that can really step up here? And so I feel like maybe this is where you're kind of intervening too, because you don't want to see your mom being in charge of taking care of somebody who is not nice to her, right? And so sometimes we have to do the hard thing and assist, right? And yeah, sometimes it's just like family dynamics are tricky. They're tricky, but I promise you, in the long run, you know, after all is said and done, I don't think that you will lament trying to do the right thing, right? Take care of your family as much as you can stomach, right? Now we have an 8 and an 8. We also have a 6, and we have a 6 up here. So we have 8, 88, 66 as numbers. And we'll go over here. I'm losing my voice. I don't know how many readings I'll be able to do today because my voice is just not cooperating. Oh, and I'm sorry. I know I'm making, my mouth is just, it gets dry. My throat hurts. I don't know. I made a magnificent soup today, and it was all ginger and garlic and onions and turmeric and, you know, some vegetables and things, and it helped for a while, but I'll tell you what, it just really has been difficult to get over this one. Okay, so we have a heart. We have a person kind of standing out there. And I think it's a dinosaur, honestly. We also have a coyote up here. So I feel like this is, and a little rabbit. I feel like this is almost like the night side, but it's dreamy. I feel like we have the hermit, maybe, again, feeding into the beginning here where we're talking about you being very focused, having that cat energy. Also hermit energy in some ways. So I do feel like you really focused on that spiritual work. We have the coyote, the trickster spirit coming to visit. We have the rabbit, fertility, abundance coming to visit. We have the dinosaur, which when I see the dinosaurs, to me as symbols, it indicates a sense of realizing that nothing is forever. Anything can change at any time. We're never in a fixed state. A powerful being like this who, you know, and there are many species of dinosaurs, of course, but as a whole, right? These powerful beings, you know, almost overnight disappearing, or however long it took, I don't know, you know. But anything can change. Any kingdom can fall, right? Empire can fall. So we have to keep in mind that it's amazing to be, you know, in a place of power in your life, and the ability to produce and create abundance successfully, but also be mindful that we need to remain flexible. We need to remain in a posture of being able to shift as things change, not being so dogmatic or set in beliefs or you know, foolish enough to believe that everything will stay the same, because it doesn't. It does not. Now below we also have a fish swimming around. So I do feel like there is a sense of abundance with money, okay? And I feel like, you know, when we have it in the waters or the tea that's kind of floating around, this is a really emotional place. So I feel like this is a happy time as far as having enough, okay? Maybe being able to pay some of those bills, maybe being able to put a little bit of money away, feeling at least like, hey, I can get through this next month or the month after, and so on. Which, listen, the state of things, right, how they are right now, you know, having any kind of security, even, you know, from one month to the next, is such a blessing. Okay. So we're going to do our Wild Offering Oracle cards, and I'm just going to flip through, and I'm going to stop where it feels right. And we'll go right here. We'll see what this says. Sanctuary. Okay. It says, a sanctuary resides inside you no matter what is happening. This inner temple beckons you to enter. Take a deep breath, enter, and sit down on the throne of your own heart. Wow. I like that one. And it goes along with the Empress energy. This enthroned, you know, emotional, passionate, and kind of like very fully realized person. All right, Aquarius. No, Pisces, not Aquarius. Cross that out. Pisces. I'm going to tell you I love you, because I do. I don't want to get myself into a coughing fit here. And I thank you so much for spending this time with me. I know I sound awful, and I thank you for putting up with it. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you haven't subscribed, please think about doing that. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I read them all, and they mean the world to me. And yeah. I just want to put everybody's worries to rest. I have gotten a couple or a few comments, people worried about us being sick all the time. My husband and I, again, shout out to Dove and Serpent Tarot. I assure you we're fine. Our health is good. We eat well, we eat whole foods, and we take our vitamins and supplements. We live a pretty earthy life over here for the most part. And, you know, and we also go to the doctor when we're supposed to and do all that kind of stuff. So we're good. It's just literally we have a daughter that is 4 years old, and this has been her, you know, first year in school. And even before that, she was having, you know, activities like these baby classes and things. And yeah, you know, it's pretty common when you have kids that are young that you start getting sick a lot, especially if you're like us, we're stay-at-home / work from home parents. So we're with our daughter all the time. You know, she does go to preschool, and she has a lot of extracurricular kind of activities. So we're around kids every single day. And on top of that, these kids, they grew up. My daughter was born a couple months after everything started in 2020. So their immune systems are not the same as kids that, you know, were out in the world the first 2 years of their life, which she wasn't. She was isolated. So we're all just playing catch up. And, you know, half of her class is sick right now, out of school, a lot of respiratory stuff going around. Most parents that have kids in my daughter's age group or even a little older, all going through the same things. So I appreciate your concerns and stuff. We love you and all of your advice and things. We absolutely appreciate it, my husband and I. But, you know, don't worry about us. We'll be fine. We're just getting through it, you know, and so, and so it is, right? So anyways, I love you guys. Take care of yourself. We're going to talk in a few days. I would say good night. It's not nighttime, so good day. Have a nice day.